Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us this year for our press conference to announce the book for our 9th year of Together We Can Read. Before we get into the specifics about the book, I just wanted to welcome you on behalf of the mayor and members of City Council, who you'll hear from in a few minutes, and our school board partners, and just thank you so much for continuing to make this program such a huge success. As I mentioned earlier, this is the 9th year that we have done Together We Can Read, and this is a community partnership that we started after a trip that we took several years ago. Actually, I think Sam and I were the only members of council at the time, so that just kind of tells you how long it's been when we started talking about how important it was for us to continue our partnership with Richland One, look at ways to expand it, but also look to really support our young people in the community. And so Together We Can Read was birthed after a conversation with the superintendent at that time, Dr. Percy Mack, who said that he would love to get people in the classrooms reading so that the community could see all the great things that are happening in Richland One, but also help develop a love of reading in our young people. And so we have done that over the last several years, and I'll tell you that we as adults have taken so much more from this partnership, I think, than the kids can. We have partnerships that are people who go into the schools. Some people had never been into one of the Richland One schools before, and they've been able to really see all the great things that are happening, but really get involved in how we can continue to feed into and pour into our young people. Together We Can Read is a one-day reading program where we have community volunteers who will go into every single third grade classroom in Richland One and read a book. Every year we choose a book, select a book that has a local connection. Number one, again, so that the children can see a love of reading, but so also they can really see what they can be. The authors usually are local authors, so they can see that as they grow up, they can become authors. The books sometimes tell about their local community, so they learn things about Columbia or South Carolina that they didn't know before. And we think that not only is that helping enrich them, but it gives them an opportunity to really see what is possible. Over the years of Together We Can Read, we have impacted over 16,000 third graders in Richland One and have had approximately 800 guest readers who have volunteered their time to this program. Last year, City Council went through a very extensive effort as far as our strategic plan, what we want to see with the city in the next 20 years. And with that, we established 7 priorities. And I can tell you that Together We Can Read hits 3 of those 7 priorities. It connects our community, it empowers our residents, including our youngest residents, and it also shows our children that they have positive role models that they can look up to right here in their own community. So it helps them understand that there are endless possibilities. During our goals for the vision statement, we wanted to foster a healthy quality of life for our children and our citizens by focusing on safety, culture, and recreation. So effectively, our children are our future, and we are showing that through our vision statement. And not only are we showing it through our vision statement, but we're showing it through Together We Can Read. So again, I want to thank you all. I'm going to introduce the mayor, Stephen K. Benjamin, to come forward to bring some remarks on behalf of the city, and then we'll bring forward Dr. Craig Witherspoon to bring some remarks on behalf of Richland One.
Thank you, Councilwoman. She said Stephen. My mother's the only person who calls me Stephen, so if you saw me look up rather quickly, it was a child in me. We all know the importance of reading, especially for our children. It's no surprise that children who read at grade level are 4 times more likely to finish high school than children who do not read. You add poverty to the mix, and a student is 13 times less likely to graduate than his or her more proficient, wealthier peer. Books open up the world of opportunity for all of us, and certainly for our children. It's up to us that every child is not only able to read at grade level, but has access to books in his or her home, and has a chance to understand the world of adventure and excitement that every child should have by not only learning to read, but then reading to learn. We're only as good as we prepare our next generation to be, and we know that reading is a fundamental, critical element of ensuring our children are prepared for their futures. That's why we're so happy every single year to stand side by side with our fellow council members, stand side by side with Ms. Devine, who's provided excellent leadership on this initiative for almost a decade, and stand side by side with our policymakers and with each and every one of you, the leadership of Richland School District 1. Thank you for all that you do. Only by working together can we make sure that each and every one of our children live up to their God-given potential. We have to do it together. So thank you for your commitment to this effort. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Councilwoman Devine, for this opportunity. As was stated, reading provides so much for our young people, but not only that, we often talk in Richland School District 1 about connections, and how do we connect learning? How do we connect people? And how do we make learning relevant? To do those things, it takes a community working together. So this program certainly does a lot. As was talked about, we have local authors that bring a local flavor. So not only do students learn to read and read to learn, they get to learn and read and interact about our community. And that makes it real. That makes it relevant. And that makes students want to learn and want to do more because they start to see themselves, not only in the author, but also in the stories that they read. And they start to see possibilities. So we take this opportunity and this event very seriously in Richland One with all of the other things that we do to make learning come alive as a part of being a student. So what a wonderful opportunity to engage our community and every single classrooms across Richland One with the same book. Imagine, again, the connections that our students start to see. And as we go into our classrooms and read, not only do we share the books, but students get a copy, but we get to engage them in conversation and discussion about the stories and about what happens. And to see those wheels turn not only on tomorrow or on that single event, but to see the wheels spinning and turning for them to see the possibilities that exist. It's magical. And it's an event that lasts and goes with the students. So when we talk to them, this is one of the events that they do talk about. And we increase their libraries, we increase their opportunities for learning, and it's a great thing and a great partnership. So we continue to be excited. We thank you, City Councilwoman Devine, for your work and your leadership in this, but it brings our community together. So it's an exciting time, and we look forward to having all of you all and more in our schools interacting with our students. And I would say don't make that the last time you come visit and take part in reading, being a lunch buddy, and all of those things. So on behalf of all of us in Richland One, thank you for this event, and thank you all for being a part of Richland School District 1.
Thank you. And we do have our elected officials who are participating as well, but I wanted to just recognize the ones that are here with us today. We've got Councilman Howard Duvall and Councilman Sam Davis. Thank you for your presence. And then we have Commissioners Lila Anna Sauls, Darrell Black, and Jamie Devine. Thank you so much for your continued partnership. So now it is my honor to announce what the 2017 Together We Can Read book is. And I will have to tell you that this is one I've been wanting to get into this program for the last couple years, and we've been working on getting it to the point where we can have this partnership. And so I'm so excited today to announce that this year's Together We Can Read book is Just a Chicken. And I am pleased to invite the authors forward for some remarks. We've got Langston Moore and Preston Thorne. And you can read more about Langston and Preston in your program booklet, but I did want to say that Langston and I have been talking for about 2 years about getting Just a Chicken as part of Together We Can Read. And I mentioned to you before that the criteria we always look at is something that has a local connection that can speak to our young people, but also can inspire them. And I will tell you that they will be inspired definitely by this book. For those of you who may not know Langston and Preston both are former Gamecock star athletes. They are football players. They played under Coach Lou Holtz. Langston is a 7-year NFL veteran, and he currently is a sideline reporter for the Carolina Gamecocks. And Preston is currently a teacher and coach at Blythewood High School. So these are men who are doing great things in our community that will inspire our young people, and both of them have agreed to, we get readers who go into every single third grade classroom. Well, these guys wanted to do more, and so both of them are actually taking on an entire school tomorrow, and they are both hosting an assembly in 2 of our Richland One schools so that they could not only read but interact with the young men and women and really inspire them and talk to them about the endless possibilities that are in front of them. So without further ado, if you would help me welcome Langston and Preston.
I know better because Preston's a teacher and a coach, so I'm gonna let him talk last, and I'm gonna say my little spiel here first. We appreciate everybody so much for allowing us to use this platform and use all of this to, one, make that connection with the community. You know, we thought it was very cool that 2 football guys wrote a book, but also to get back out there and make those connections with the students and the kids and make that author-reader type of connection, because, you know, I grew up in a 2-parent household. I was fortunate enough to come to school and play football, but it still took a whole community behind me, kicking me in my tail every day. And I always remember I didn't really ever get to meet a real author until I came to college, and I thought, you know, being the son of a teacher, my father was a college graduate, you know, they exposed me so much, but a lot of children don't get to have that experience. So we felt to ourselves, you know, going out there and telling our story and making those connections and giving kids something as tangible as a book to always hold on and kind of have that, remember that it can be, do, or have whatever they want to be in life, as long as they just don't play the small game, as we like to say in football. So one other thing we always like to talk about when we go into the schools, and it's vitally important, everybody up here talked about it in one shape, form, or fashion or another, is that books always take us to a higher level. And we always tell the kids when we go into the classrooms, you know, it's great that you want to play in the NFL. Everybody wants the big house. Everybody wants a lot of money. Everybody wants a car, jewelry, whatever. We call that the top shelf of life. And we always tell kids the best chance you have to reach the top shelf of life is by standing on the books you read. And the more books you read, the more opportunities you have to go up and reach and pull down something, but also to pull somebody up with you. So this has been a great experience for us. I'm gonna let Preston finish it off because he's the coach and he breaks everything down. We appreciate it. Oh, sorry. Typical football player fashion. Make room for it.
Yeah, when they was calling up the book, I was like, man, this feels like the Grammys I watched last night. I was gonna come up here and give my speech, making sure that we got this award, but thank y'all, everybody, for giving us this opportunity. It's really an awesome thing to be able to share our experiences, and I want to hit on something that the superintendent said, because when we talk about connection, we want kids to connect with 2 things. When we read the story, we want them to connect with others, authors, because we're products of this community. We're both products of public school, products of South Carolina public schools, and we want to make sure these kids know that they can accomplish anything that they want to do with the help of all of us around this community. But the second thing we want to make sure is that they connect to the story also. So a lot of times when you can't connect to the author, you can connect to the story. And the biggest thing we want to make sure that they connect from the story is this idea about being more than. You know, when I was growing up, my mother, I was always bigger than all the other kids, so that was never an issue. In fact, I didn't even play football until I was in 9th grade because I was always overweight. Eat to Win, we do that camp here in Columbia also, so we want to make sure we do a lot of other community work. But I was always overweight, so one of the things she said is that you're going to be good in sports, because I was always good at sports, and that really didn't come. She said, but one thing you're not going to be if you grow up in Juanita Thorne's house is you're not just going to be a dumb jock. And that was something that I didn't understand what she was saying at the time, but she would continuously say that to me. And now that I'm older, I realize what she was trying to say is that we don't have to do certain things just because of where we are or what we, you know, the labels that we give ourselves. Langston always says that labels limit us. And a lot of the children in our communities have these limits that are either self-imposed or they're imposed by the world around them. And so in the story, we want to make sure they connect with the idea that they don't have to be limited by anybody or even limited by themselves or limited by their circumstances. So if we can make sure we share that with the kids tomorrow to understand that regardless of where they are, where they're from, or even some of their circumstances, they can rise above and be more than, that would be a great thing. So we appreciate it. Thank y'all for reading our story tomorrow. We hope y'all enjoy it as much as we do, and thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Preston and Langston. I did want to recognize that Councilman Ed McDowell has joined us. So, Ed, thank you so much for being here and reading tomorrow as well. And so before we close, and we'll take any questions that anyone may have, for those of you who are readers, you can go downstairs and pick up your book. I do want to piggyback on something that Preston said regarding the actual story. We didn't go into really the story today, but I will tell you it's an amazing story. It's not just inspiring for young people, but it's inspiring for everybody who reads it. So I encourage you tonight as you're preparing for tomorrow, read the story and connect with it, because it really means a lot, especially I would say with some of the conversations that are happening in our country today. This is really a story that needs to be told. But lastly, I would just say that when you go in tomorrow, you're doing more than reading to the students. You are inspiring them. You are giving them the gift of reading. You're giving them their own book that they will all take home and hopefully share with their siblings and cousins and parents and everybody that they interact with. But you're also nourishing their minds and feeding into their spirit. And that's why we do it. And we thank you so much for your time, because we know that it is not, everybody is very busy, and we know taking time out to go into a school tomorrow sometimes is a sacrifice. But the fact that you continue to do that and are doing that with us tomorrow, we greatly appreciate it. And we know that our students will get so much from it. So with that said, I want to thank you so much for being here. If the media has... Okay, I'm getting my direction. We need a group picture. So when we finish, I'm going to get all the readers up here to take a group picture. And Judge McDuffie has a question.
Yes, where will children other than the third grades, where will those parents be able to purchase?
Great question.
Great question.
We have a website, justachicken.book.com. You can also purchase it around here locally off Main Street. It's at the Columbia Museum of Art. It's at the Uptown on Main Street, right here at the head of Main Street. Garnet and Black Traditions, Adams Bookstores.
Catch us on Saturdays
At Soda City. We love supporting Soda City and all the great food they have out there. We probably eat more food than books we sell. Online, Amazon, of course, but support our justachicken.book.com website.
Okay. Susan.
For those of us who are reading tomorrow, would y'all like to share with us some of your animations that we can use in the classroom?
Okay.
You're a pro at this, I definitely know. All right, so we're gonna give you some. We can't give away all our secrets because we like to make it special when the kids go in. But one of the big things is this: there's gonna be a reoccurring theme throughout the story where there's gonna be a part where there's like a cock-a-doodle-doo, and Cock is going around and waking up all the other animals from the mascots. And so one of the things you can do with your students to get them a little bit more involved and actively engaged is whenever it comes to the part where it says cock-a-doodle, I'm gonna ask y'all to do it right now. All right. So whenever it comes to the part where it says cock-a-doodle in the book, you're gonna throw your spurs up. All right. You're gonna throw your spurs up, and whenever you throw your spur up, they're gonna make the sound a rooster makes. So everybody here, let's try it. 3, 2, 1. Cock-a-doodle. All right, now see.
That rooster ain't waking nobody up.
Exactly. That's not gonna work. So we're gonna need our participation. We'll try it one more time. We're gonna make sure we wake people up, make sure we have the students really engaged. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Cock-a-doodle. There it is. All right, very good.
Any other questions? Media or anybody? And our authors and our readers will be around afterwards too if y'all want any individual interviews.